we get started, Lindsey just has a few comments she'd like to share.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. I would like to, like I've said, first just address some of my comments that were put out in a media story last week. First and foremost, I would like to apologize to our fans. Some of my comments were poorly expressed, and there was a massive lesson learned for me. When I think about our fans, I love them so much. This team loves them so much, and I can't begin to explain how much they mean to us. Every time we step out and train, every time we step out and play in games, we play for you guys, and you are our inspiration, you are our motivation, and seeing you wearing our jerseys and seeing you screaming our names and chanting USA, that's what we play for. And I never wanted to take any of that away. And continuing on that, the soccer culture in America is changing and growing so much in such a positive way. And for me to be able to experience that firsthand playing, for this U.S. Women's National Team, but also in the NWSL and for the Portland Thorns is something just so amazing. And, it is my absolute honor, and I will always say that, to be able to put on this crest every single day, to be in this environment and to go out and play in front of our fans and represent this national team. That is something, it is my greatest honor. And the last thing I ever wanted to do was to offend anyone in that manner. So again, I deeply, deeply apologize.
And with that, let's move to questions. Caesar, go ahead.
Hi, Lindsey. Sussman here from ESPN. Thanks for taking the time. A little bit of a tangent here, looking specifically at one of your group stage matches, but I'm curious if you and your teammates currently see Mexico as a rivalry game, perhaps a major rivalry game, or is Mexico currently seen as just another opponent within the region and the group stage? Thanks.
Again, I do think they're always a rivalry game. I think the last time that we played them, we did have a cool atmosphere, and again, it's like that for our men, and I think we view it for our women as well. But also, I think it's just another great game to have in our group stage and in this tournament. And again, we want to see the best of them, and we'll give them the best of us.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Let's go to Andrew Jones. Go ahead, Andrew.
Thanks, Aaron. Lindsey, I want to ask you, when did you feel that you would be a leader on the field for any team, whether at Lyon or for the national team? When did you get a sense of you having those leadership qualities? And did you feel just compelled, just in terms of not only reaction, but just how you felt just by yourself to just make the statements in terms of you opening and having an apology to the fans?
It's a great question. I think it's developed over time. I think these leadership qualities were always inside of me, and I think that's something that, I've always wanted to become. I didn't know when that time would potentially come for me on this team or in my club team or, now in the Lyon environment. But, I'm so fortunate and honored to be able to have that chance now, and I don't think it's necessarily the captain's armband that does that. I think there's so many great and incredible leaders on this team, and I happen to be lucky enough to be one of them right now and to help along, such incredible young new players. And that's my role and responsibility right now. And as for Lyon, I think that, as soon as I got there, I didn't know how that was going to work because there's such experienced and quality players there and, massive leaders like Wendy Renard. So I'm lucky enough to learn from her, but also work beside her and do the best to lead in my way, which is a lot of English and not a lot of French.
Thanks, Andrew. Let's go to Joe DiPolito. Go ahead, Joe.
Lindsey, how would you assess the development of women's soccer in Latin America and the Caribbean to this point? What has most impressed you, and do any specific examples or incidents stand out in your mind as examples?
This past World Cup, I mean,
Throughout your career.
no, I'm sorry, I'm making a statement. I think, for
Oh.
me, over the past, Hive knows best how long I've been playing professionally, but it's incredible the development that's been made, and I think for me, this past World Cup has shown that. You see some of these teams come out and give such incredible matchups with some of the best teams in the world, and what you mentioned, but also other countries all over the world that I've said before may have been considered a lower level team, but now are, matching up, giving England hard games, giving us hard games, giving some of the best teams in the world. You saw what Panama did with France, that free kick in the first, I don't know how many minutes they scored in the World Cup, but it was just like, oh my gosh, this is such an incredible thing. So I think that's really special, and it's just so incredible to see in the women's game.
And as a follow-up, given the increase in quality and competitiveness, how does that affect your national team's mentality and approach to these games as opposed to maybe in the past?
Again, I think one, we got to focus on ourselves. We got to focus on what we need to do and what we want to accomplish, how we want to play, and how we want to represent. And I think you've seen a lot of that on the course of the past few camps, and what we've tried to develop since the World Cup, and the few things and nuances that we're trying to change. And we want to go out and entertain, and we want to play the best way possible, and let you guys see that. But we want to go out and win games, and we know this is a tournament mode, and we know how that goes. And each game, these aren't friendlies anymore. It's tournament play, and each team gives a different kind of game in tournament play. You're going out to win games. You're going out to get points. You could be going out. Some teams just want to be in a low block and make it as difficult as possible for us and go for a tie. I mean, those are things that we have to focus on leading into the first few games, and know that these teams are going to make it difficult for us. So, we take each game at a time, and we focus on the first one, and that's what this lead up this week before the first game is about.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe. Let's go to Chris Alston. Go ahead, Chris. Chris, are you there? Your mic is open. And we'll come back to Chris. Let's go to Lakin. Go ahead, Lakin.
Hey, Lindsey. What are you hoping to get out of this Gold Cup? Like, what specifically are you hoping to see from the team, just given that this is the first tournament you guys have played in since the World Cup?
The trophy. No, obviously, I think our main goal is to win the Gold Cup, and again, it's the first one for us, and I think that is very special. I think this is also such a cool opportunity to have a major tournament like this that kind of exemplifies the Olympics and gets us prepared for that. And I think what we do here can really train us and mentally prepare us for what we might have to deal with in France. But first and foremost, this is a major tournament in itself, and we want to win. And again, like I said before, we take each game at a time, and we get better throughout the tournament, and we keep increasing what we're trying to do and how we are trying to play, and just the preparation.
One more question, if you don't mind. You're obviously very close with Mal. How has she been in training, and how does the vibe change when she is in camp?
I'm so incredibly happy for her. I mean, what a year, and to have her back in camp and to see her smiling and back on the field, I think it brings me so much joy. I think most of you guys know Mal is a very close friend of mine, and what she's gone through in the course of her career in this past year is something that I obviously don't wish upon anyone, but Mal never deserved it, and when she was in such a good run. So to see her now, to see her smiling and back on the pitch and doing her thing is just so cool.
Awesome. Let's go back to Chris, see if he's worked out his mic situation. Chris, are you there? He has not. Let's go to Mani Djami. Go ahead.
Hi there, Lindsay. Thank you for taking the question. The team is rebuilding after the World Cup, but also building towards the Olympics when you'll be aiming to peak. What role does this tournament play in that build-up, and how strange is it to have this tournament without having the coach that you'll have at the Olympics? Has Emma Hayes made any contact with the squad? Do you know what she's looking for from this tournament?
Well, I'll answer your first question. I think it goes back to what I just said before. I think this Gold Cup, one, it's a tournament itself that we want to win, and it is also a direct correlation into the Olympics and how it's kind of set up, and it's a major tournament, so it's cool that we get this preparation leading into to the Olympics. Also, it's a really cool opportunity because the NWSL is coming off preseason, and I think you're going to see a lot of interchange in the players and amount of playing time, and again, they're in preseason going into an NWSL season, so I think that's really cool that we get to utilize everyone. And again, to your second question, this is already what we knew. Emma, we respect what she's doing at Chelsea, and yeah, it is what it is, and we are here with Twyla, and Twyla is doing amazing, and she's our interim coach right now, so we are focused on what we're doing with her and getting prepared for these games.
Excellent. Let's go to Nancy Armour. Oh, sorry. Are you good, Money?
Sorry, just, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
In terms of development, how important is it to have this competition in terms of the development of football in the region?
Oh, well, I think it's great. I think the men have it, so I think it's wonderful that we now have it and we get to compete in, such a special tournament with some really incredible teams that are in it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Nancy Armour now. Go ahead, Nancy.
We got mic problems.
Nancy, can you unmute yourself? I swear it's not me. Let's go back to Nancy. We'll go to Jeff Carlisle. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, Lindsay. Just going back to your opening comment where you said your comments were poorly expressed. What were you trying to say? And, if I may, what do you think it is about maybe your game that sometimes gets overlooked? I mean, what are some subtle nuances maybe that maybe people don't see or see enough of?
Firstly, I don't think what I meant really matters right now, but one thing that I think I would like to say is, when I think of some of the best footballing teams in the world, and some that I watch, and you guys most know me, I'm just a football brain, and I love watching soccer as much as I possibly can, and I love talking about it. And the way I talk about Man City, the way people talk about Man City, Arsenal, the old Barcelona, that is just like, that's what I love. And I think that's what I want people to say about us. I want people to talk about, how incredible we are on the ball, the possession, the style of play, the technical ability, the tactical changes mid-game, these type of things that maybe I've viewed when I do see some of the best teams in the world. And so maybe that was in my head, thinking of our team and what I want people to say about them on the field and how we're playing.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. Chris did send me his question. He wants to look a little bit forward to the She Believes Cup. I know you guys know that we're going to play Japan in Atlanta. We've already sold more tickets than any other individual She Believes Cup match in history.
How many?
Well, the record is 26-5
Yeah.
at Red Bull. We're over that.
Nice.
So it's going to be, obviously it's a huge stadium.
Yeah.
But anyway, the significance of the She Believes Cup, playing Japan, it's a little different this year with the two games, but just to talk about opening up against Japan in what is U.S. Soccer's future home of Atlanta.
Oh, so cool. Again, I think it's amazing that we are doing it in Atlanta. I think a lot of the players on the team are probably happy about it that are from that area as well. But, two great opponents that we're facing in a massive tournament that we've always had. So I think it's cool that we're keeping that. And for me, obviously looking forward to that. And it's another preparation for a major tournament, and, a trophy's on the line. And we like She Believes trophies, so.
Let's go back to Nancy. Nancy, you're there. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm here now.
Yep.
Thanks, Lindsay, for doing this. Just kind of following up on the preparation. You've got so many newcomers, and many of them did get some time with the team last fall, but this is their first extended time. This is their first time playing a tournament. How important is it to have it, so that they're not going into the Olympics cold, not having done this at the senior level? And then also too, with Alex not being here, how much does this give you an opportunity to grow or develop as a leader, being the captain kind of on your own at this tournament?
Again, to your first comment, I think it was kind of like what I said before. I think everyone needs to be utilized in this camp, and I think that is a great opportunity for some of these players that maybe haven't played a massive tournament with us yet, or need more time on the field. And again, it's just it's preparation every single day. Training is preparation, and then the minutes that you get on the field, you got to take advantage of that. And we learn every single day. And it's not just the new young ones. It's all of us. We're all progressing together, and we remain a team. And everyone needs to get on the same page leading into the Olympics. But first off, the first game here at the Gold Cup. And as to your second question, I don't think a lot changes for me. I think my role and my leadership, it doesn't change based off of who's here and who's not here. I also always want to rely on others for help, because there's a lot of leaders in this group and a lot of incredible players with massive voices, that can always help me and bounce ideas off me. So that is, something I'm very fortunate to have, and also continue to develop with the girls in this team.
Excellent. Let's go. We got how many left? About 3 left. Let's go to Henry Bushnell. Go ahead, Henry.
Thanks, Aaron, and thanks, Lindsay, for your time. I just had a brief follow-up on your opening statement. What compelled you to apologize? Like, was it seeing reaction from fans? Was it reaction from people close to you? What made you think that was something you had to do or should do or wanted to do?
What I had inside of me, how I felt about it, and what I read and in my opinion of my own comments, and also me wanting to express how much the fans just mean to me personally, and again, not wanting to take anything away from that. So I think that was just something always within me that I wanted to do.
Got it. Thanks.
Thanks, Henry. Jason Anderson, go ahead.
Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for speaking with us today. During and after the World Cup, I think multiple players within the team mentioned that there was some tension that weighed on the group, especially in the group stage. And then you all talked about how in the Sweden match, you maybe found some more ability to play with some freedom. And there's always that challenge of finding that balance between intense focus and that level of freedom and joy that you want to play with. You recently discussed the idea of maybe wanting the group to be more dialed in before games and things along that line. With the coaching change, with the players coming in and out, what are you seeing from the group at this camp in that department?
I think all the players in this camp are very professional and they take everything seriously. I think they all bring their personality to the game and they always bring their joy. And I think especially after that Sweden game, you saw what we did on the field and how we played and the joy that we got from that game, not including the result, but in the way that we played. And I think, the turning point was, coming off of that game, what do we need to do moving forward to continue that, bit of success that we got in the game besides the result. And, you know, for me, I've never questioned the players here in this camp and the professionalism that they take every single day leading into trainings and games. And I think that's continued here, and I think it's remarkable to see, you know, the young players and the new players and how much they take, you know, everything seriously and prepare themselves for games, for trainings, for everything.
Awesome. Last
Appreciate
one.
it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Last one goes to Andrew Jones. Go ahead, Andrew.
Thanks again, Aaron. Lindsey, as someone that's a big fan of the game and how the game is played as philosophy level, blue cards has been in the conversation lately. And Karen Carney, she hated the idea, felt that it would be a backward step. We're both wearing blue here, but how do you feel about cards on topic? If you want to see it in the game or not, and who gave the best rah-rah speeches for the team ever?
Oh, boy.
Cards.
I do not think that they need to be in our game. It's a very interesting topic, and I think I've seen a lot on it. I also have seen that this is a very advanced thing that has come out and that it's not actually ready to be spoken about. So I don't know if it's really going to, I don't know everything on it, and when it's like really trying to be implemented in games. But I think it's a very interesting thing, and yeah, I don't have full thoughts on it. I just don't think it's necessarily needed in our game right now.